Alright, so as promised, here's the fourth section that was not supposed to be there, but we have it anyway. And I'm not streaming. Gonna keep it streaming. Alright. But what we kind of want to do in this section is we kind of want to create our own AI and see whether or not we can make that work. Particularly, I want an AI that when my commander gets attacked by bombers, that this helper AI that we have here sends interceptors to help my command unit. That's the goal. So let's do that. We have interceptors that help the command unit. The platoon that we're making is fine. So this is all good. Interceptors, command, defense. So all of this here is fine in terms of the air attacks and the charge quantity. We kind of don't want this to be made indefinitely. We kind of only want this to be made when the interceptor squadron that we have has been killed. The squadron is going to be quite a bit bigger, and the interesting part is going to be what platoon function and what platoon data do we need in here. And to do that, we can just add a platoon functions.lua file here. That's going to encapsulate all our platoon functions, and we can just reference that like this. Platoon functions lua. And don't add the // because if we don't add the // then it looks in the same directory that we're in. And in this case, we want it to look in the same directory of our map, which is platoon functions.lua. So now we have that function defined. We have the file defined, we don't have the function yet. And the file here is empty, so we're going to need some function called, I don't know, interceptor command defense behavior. Very informative name. There we go. And we want to make sure that that function is called when we do things. And besides that, we're just gonna say in here we got some arbitrary name, which is Bob. And this feels random, but that's because I kind of want to show you what's going on here. So first of all, we're going to add a log statement that says the function name, just to make sure that this function is actually getting called. And we're going to represol, yes, platoon.platoon data. And this means recursive print safe log. You don't have to remember the abbreviation, just remember this that this exists, and this prints this entire thing to the console, to the Moho log, but it does it in such a manner that it doesn't crash the game in some occasions. And we're just going to start with this, which is not really much, by all means. They're not going to do anything at this point, but it's just to make sure that everything exists, that it's doing what we think it is doing. There we go. Perfect. So we added a... Oh, we should not call this at all if we don't add an argument to that. So let's restart that. Alright, so here's the base again. It's building things, and right now it's building the scouts that we told it to build, and after that it's gonna build some other stuff. Again, it's laggy because there we go. Unable to find Lua AI/platoon. Okay. Okay, that's true. So the place where this file is imported is in a file that has /lua/ai as its base path. So we kind of do need to add the entire path of the map here. FAF co-op battle of the frozen lake / platoon functions. All right, so that's because usually we import them in the file themselves. So we could do this local platoon functions. And now in here we can see that it finds this function. But because this is a reference that is used in another file, this prefix that we have here is going to be different from our maps. So that's why we still got to add that in. All right.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. I am brand spanking new. I just found you guys.
Well, you are welcome. This is part 4 of the first session, and I broke everything, so that's nice. What did I break, actually?
Are you one of the, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody here, but are you one of the developers of this?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the...
I've actually been a huge fan of this game for, well, like since like 2006, but, you know, I've been playing it over the years, but I'm actually a software engineer now as an adult, and playing this game recently. Yeah, and I kind of want to, I'm thinking about switching jobs, and like, it's kind of awesome that you're doing what I'm looking into right now.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's always great to hear. We don't have jobs at FAF, sadly. So
No, it's just it's mostly like a modding community.
No, I understand. It's always great to hear. At the moment, we're in the middle of a session. So I'm just gonna continue that. This is being recorded to be put on YouTube.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. You didn't know, so that's fine. But I'm just gonna finish this up. I'll be available afterwards, and then if you want to, we can always have chat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So let's look at what we got. We have it found our file, and it found our function, because here we did this log and this recursive printing save log function, which logs this whole bit to the Moho log, and this is the log right there. So now we're guaranteed that we have something here. We don't know, this is going to be the platoon with a list of units, and inside the platoon data there's already some information, even though we didn't add, and we only added this Bob name to it. But we can find the location type, we can find the builder name, which is very lengthy, but this originates from the file that we have right here, right? That's this little bit, these guys. And we have a platoon name, which is again very long, and appears to be the exact same platoon. So that's the information that we have right now. Now, what do we need? We want to protect a command unit if it gets attacked, and if it doesn't get attacked, we kind of want to just patrol the base. So in terms of information, we're going to be needing a target to protect, which is going to be something. We don't know what yet, but we're gonna need to define it at some point. And we're gonna need a default patrol chain, which is going to be something. We don't know what yet exactly, but we'll define that at some point. And that's pretty much all we need. All right, this is the command unit that we want to protect, but it could be anything. And this is the patrol chain that we're going to use if we don't need to protect the command unit. So let's first actually just spawn in that command unit that we were talking about, because we're kind of going to need that going forward. And to do that, we are again just going to cheat a bit, because we have this information here of all these co-op maps already doing the same thing. So let's not reinvent the wheel and search here for Something with a command unit. Commander. This. Where is this set? There. Spawn commander. That sounds sane. Let's go for that. So in here we are scenario framework.spawn commander, and here we can use the IntelliSense to get more information about this function, which has not been annotated yet, so we don't really have anything. But this is the player index, so this is going to be the army, I suppose. Yeah, so that's the brain army. Well, brain army, the unit, commander. I think we're making a mistake here. Let's go to our save file and see if there is something called commander in here. Yes, there is. Okay, so we're gonna need a control. We're gonna need a group here in our units here that is called commander. Apply. And in that group, this is actually a unit, I think. This is not a group. Or is this a marker? What are we in? Units, alliance, player 1, debug base. We don't need a debug base. This is... I think this is... Speed, are you here?
Yeah.
This...
What's going on?
This particular unit here?
Yeah.
Is
Commander?
this is a... Yeah, but, yeah, yes. But is this... this appears to be the unit itself already and not a group.
Yeah, it is a unit.
But that's in the inner scope. Where... How do I replicate that?
Well, you select group, any group. So in this case, it could be just a UEF ally or just player 1, yeah, and add the unit directly into that one.
Oh, that's actually a group too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know. So that's good to know. We can do a groupless 0001. So here we can see the command unit. Let's just copy the same one they have, which is the AN1. But we are UEF. I don't like AN. So we are going to spawn somewhere right there. Give ourselves free rotation because, you know, we're gonna look a bit epic walking from the trees. Alright, so here we have our commander. And we kind of want to call this unit here commander. There we go. So that's the name of this unit. So this group is confusing at this point, so let's remove that. And here we have one unit named commander, like that. Yeah, there we go. And save. Always save, or the game is not going to pick up your changes. Alright, so we have this command there. We're warping in, and then we do a pulse at def. Did the wasp return? No. Then we do a pulse at def, a def trigger, and enhancements. Any? Let's see. We got a brain, a unit, an effect, which is warp. We give it name true. Pulse def true, and we have def trigger. So this is the def trigger. So if this happens, function command unit def trigger.
Yeah, you can skip that if you want it for now. Like it's optional. Like
this is optional. Let's just add a log statement in here and say, just do that. This is why annotating is so important, right? If we look over this one, it's very clear what everything is. But if we go over this one, then we're not very much the wiser. But we create this command unit. It returns nil.
It actually returns the unit itself.
Exactly. So here we have local command is da 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 da. And let's say targets to protect. So what we want to do here is retrieve the command units. Command unit is, and now we are just going to look at the AI brain. AI get army brain off, or we can just do army brains player. There we go. And this, we're gonna give this a type. So let's say local player brain, and then we can give this a type of AI brain. There we go. And now we can get list of units, which has a category, need to be idle, and required build parameters. So the categories will be categories.command. There we go. They need to be idle is false, and they need to be build is false too. I think that last parameter actually doesn't work in practice.
Yeah, it's not required.
And this is the command unit that we're going to protect. So let's put that in right there. Note that this returns a list of units. So that's why we have targets to protect. So this is a table of usually one unit, I suppose. But if we have multiple players, then we're going to have to protect multiple command units. All right. So now we should be spawning in the command unit, and we should be able to find it here. Just to, for the sake of it, we're just going to do command units and print the number of command units that we found here. And then we need a default chain. And we already have this fancy chain here on the outer side, so we're just going to reuse that. We've got interceptor patrol chain B. So this is going to be the default chain. All right. So let's look at what we have now. If we restart the game and we recreate that platoon of ours, let's look at our platoon data that we have in our function. All right, so this is the one. This is the, I should have maybe added some more text, but this is the log statement that we did right here, which is that command unit. So we did find one command unit, so that's great. All right, and this is our platoon data at the moment. So let's look at what we have. We have targets to protect, which is a unit in this case. You can clearly, well, for me it's clearly, I suppose. But this is a unit given all the data that we have. There is a blueprint ID here somewhere. There it is, which is, oh no, that's a table we just skipped. All right. So this is a unit, and then we should have another argument here at the bottom somewhere, or here at the top. Default patrol chain, there we go, which is our chain. So now we have all the information that we need. So let's start making that custom platoon function here. So we're just going to local targets to protect, which is platoon.platoon data dot targets to protect. Right, that's what we set in our script here. That's this value right there. And we have local default patrol chain, which is again platoon.platoon data dot default patrol chain. There we go. So now we have all the information that we need. Now, and this is where the where we actually start defining what the platoon should be doing, because currently the platoon is right there. It's these 4 fancy pants interceptors, and they're just idling, not really doing anything. So let's give them something to do. And let's look at that. We're going to say, this is going to be a bit magical, but units let's just look at that actually real quick. Units have callbacks. And that is this whole list here. And in particular, we have the onDamaged callback, do onDamaged callbacks. And this is what we're going to use. If our command unit gets damaged, then we want this to trigger. That's roughly the idea. So for k, unit, we're actually going to give this a type. Let's do that real quick. That makes it a lot easier to work with. This is a array of units, and at type this is a string. So now for k, unit in targets to protect, do. And why is this easier? Because now we can just see inside this fella. Oh no. Where's Elevator when you need him? This class exists. Pretty sure that this class exists. There we have it. Did I does it finds the class, so that's nice. Alright. We can fix this. Platoon functions. Rowie, any suggestions? Empty block. That's a unit, but then this should be a unit too, right? Maybe oh well. It was a great plan. I gotta ask Elevator why it's not registering this here as a unit, or is it registering that as a unit? Unknown. Okay, well, anyway. This would have been nice, but there's something going wrong here. I don't really understand. But we're just going to give them a... Right, we got the file right here, and we have that add onDamaged callback. So let's call that unit add onDamaged callback, which it can't find right now. But it has a function, an amount, and a repeat number. Now, the function is whatever function we define here. And again, always, it's very useful to have the base game code available to you, because now we can check the arguments that are passed when this is called, which is in this function right here, right, onDamaged. Yeah, and here we can see that the function is called with the damage dealer. So we have ourselves, right? Self, instigator. And then we have to give him an amount, which I'd say we just say any amount, it doesn't really matter. And we need to give it a repeat, which let's just always repeat this and take care of it in here. So first off, we need to check if the instigator is actually a unit. Otherwise we can ignore it. Sometimes the instigator can be the projectile. We don't want it to be a projectile. If the instigator is a unit, then we continue. If the unit contains, if entity category contains this unit, yeah. If it contains the bomber, the air category, bomber category, or the categories .gunship. No, let's just go for air instigator. Then we want to do something, right? So if an air unit damaged this target that we're trying to protect, then we can start taking out that air unit with our interceptor squadron. So in this case, we have a target, so we could just say issue attack we want to attack using the platoon get platoon units, just to make sure that we have the proper typing here. So now we can see that this is indeed a platoon, and one of those functions is the get platoon units right there, and we want to attack the instigator. So now if our command unit is attacked, then this platoon will start hunting that unit down. So let's just start with this and see what happens, right? They're not using the chain yet, but let's just see if we can make this trigger. By all means, this is a really bad idea of doing it, but we'll see in a second why that is the case. Because we're going to start with a bomber that doesn't do 200 damage instances, which is attempt to call method add on damage to callback. I thought we just oh no, what did I do wrong? We have a command unit, which is a table. We get list of units. For unit in this thing, wrap cell boink. Did I make a typo somewhere? I think this is the moment where IntelliSense was trying to tell me I did something wrong because it couldn't find the type. Suggestions. Let's see what it tells us. Okay, it did find the unit. Right, this is the unit reference right here. But why can't it do this add-on damaged callback? Speed, do you have any suggestions?
Not right now.
There's something weird going on with this unit. Let's just print it again. Okay, so it's registering the unit here. It's doing all of that. Let's do an extensive print, see what we get. Let's try this one more time. And my point is that we all make mistakes. That's just, this is very normal in the learning process to try and understand what we're doing wrong here. I hope one of you viewers is just going to be thinking, ha, you forgot that. The meta table is empty. What? This returns a unit, right? This is a unit.
Yeah, that's a list of units. Yeah. And it's empty, or what?
No, there's no meta table attached to this unit. Why is there no meta table attached to this unit?
Can you show the code? Let's see, command unit. Well,
but like
command unit is a table of units.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But here I'm going over that table, target super checked,
Yes.
And then for every unit in that table, I print it. And then it should print the meta table too, but the meta table is empty apparently. And that's why it can't find the add on damaged callback, because, you know.
Yeah, it looks correct-ish.
Yeah, I'd agree with the ish too. Okay, maybe it's because the unit doesn't exist or is fully populated yet when we make the mission here. So let's just fork thread function and then end.
Again, the very sane thing to do would be to grab the unit after the platoon is created inside our custom function instead of passing directly into the builder.
Fair enough, but then it can only protect command units.
Well,
if we do the, or if we just pass the categories.
Pass categories.
To protect.
Can
Nice.
pass categories. You can pass brains that it should search for. Just give it the info and grab the unit later.
All right, I agree with this assessment. So, categories to protect, armies to protect, which is just going to be player 1 for now. All right, so let's give this another go. We're just going to move this logic into our little function here. So now we have categories to protect, which is the same name as we have here. And we have local armies to protect, which is platoon data dot armies to protect. And then for k, army in armies to protect, do, this is getting beautiful. And then in here we can retrieve that unit we were talking about, where this is the army, that's the command unit, and then here we kind of want to just grab that command unit, where this would be the categories to protect. So this would be a list of numbers. This would be a type categories, that one. This is a type string. All right, let's see if this works. So now this is a really nice example to just kind of show how that platoon data that we have here, how that works. Right, we can pass anything in here with any name that we want, and then we can use that in here to do whatever it is that we need to do with that. There we go. Did stuff. Got a command unit here. And now it didn't crash. So, if anything, I don't really understand what happened. I'll be honest. I don't know why it did a bit bonky back then. But now if we make a bomb bar.
Yeah, I might have an idea. So the platoon data that is specified in the builder is copied to the platoon, and I guess the copy function cannot really handle copying units.
Ah.
So you need to retrieve the unit later. You can pass the data or how to find the unit, but you need to find the unit later.
Yeah, that sounds sane to me as to why that is. So here we have that this is an enemy, of course, and we have that our ally is hostile to that person too. Otherwise, we don't have a hostile army. Can't do damage if you got no hostile army. Don't need to save this. All right, wheelie, run with the winds. There it is. So the platoon triggered, right? That's our little trigger message. So now we have this hostile angry army that has this skimmer here. And that skimmer is totally gonna try and blow up my command unit. And it crashed, of course. Let's see. Attempt to call field func a number value. So here we have the script, platoon functions. Apparently the function is the first argument. That sounds fair enough. Let's try again. All right. We got a command unit. Command unit is walking over there. We have this hostile army which is doing this bomber thing on the command unit. Arithmetic on a function value. What is the order? Function amount repeat number. Function amount repeat number. Attempt to perform arithmetic on a function value. Oh, there needs to be a comma here. Okay, now it was thinking that it was doing this function -1 as the first parameter. That's an exciting parameter.
Yep. The key shortcut to restart the game is Control F10. Very useful.
That sounds useful. Let's try that out right away. So here we have the command unit again, chilling, and the behavior triggered. So let's have a bomber here, and then we'll do with the wind, turn it off, turn this on. And now it can see everything. So let's see if these 4 little fellas are gonna try and hunt down this bomber here. We did damage. And there they go. What's their target? Doesn't show, but I think it's the bomber. Yeah, it's attacking. Trying to engage on that bomber and take it out. There we go. And this is kind of what I wanted to show in this session, which is already 38 minutes long. So I'm gonna call it a day here, but we'll continue this in future sessions. That you have a lot of control over what the AI does, and the base game functionality that takes away all the difficult bits, like having engineers assist factories or having engineers to build things in the base, is already taken care of for you. All you need to do is tell them what to build and what to do with what they've built. One example being the bombers here. Other examples being the interceptors and the scouts. And in this case, our own little function, which is by no means complete, but our own little function here that will try and assist our command unit if for some reason it gets bombed. And we can add all types of little functions and logics to it, and to different platoons that are being built, to make this AI really feel like he's helping you out, and he's really trying to assist you in that, while trying to do some useful things his own, like for example the scouting and the bombing runs on this end. That's it. I hope that these first 4 sections of this series on campaign development has been useful, not only in showing you how these, how you can use that annotation, how you can work on making a simple little base that we're going to extend upon next time, but also on just, and I think that's adds a lot of value, that everyone makes mistakes. And that sounds a bit silly to say, but you always have these pitch perfect programming tutorials on YouTube that really makes you feel like you're a moron, because when you try to do the same thing, you get stuck after 10 seconds. Well, what they're doing is just usually a script of some kind. We all make mistakes. We all run into issues. I had to ask Speed a lot of questions, and he gave a lot of advice. And we have a similar place for you to be able to get that advice, and that is in this campaign general. Right? This is where I'll be hanging around to try and help you, and where other people from the community are going to be hanging around to see if they can help you too. So that's essentially that for today.